You ever stop to think about the blood that's flowing through your veins right now? I mean, really think about it. It's way more than just a medical detail on a chart. It's a story. It's your story. It's like an ancestral blueprint packed with clues about your unique strengths and vulnerabilities. And today, we're diving into this pretty wild theory about how our deep, deep past shaped who we are. Because your blood, it isn't just a fluid.
That's exactly it. It's a time machine that tells a story of survival, of sickness, of health, all based on this evolutionary path that was carved out thousands and thousands of years ago. And in this story, well, there are four main characters.
So first, let's just get our bearings. Look at this. Type O is the big one, about 45% of the world's population. It's kind of the ancestral default. Then you've got type A right behind it at 40%, and then B and the super rare AB make up the rest. So, see where you fit in? Here's the cool part. Each slice of this chart, it represents a completely different survival strategy, and we're going to start with the original.
Okay, let's begin with the ancestral anchor, the blood of the original hunter-gatherer. This is the oldest metabolic signature we have. You could call it the genetic default setting for all of humanity.
Now, the core of type O is this really fascinating trade-off. On one hand, you've got what we can call Teflon shield blood. Your red blood cells are really smooth, see, because they don't have those sticky protein markers, the antigens, that define the other blood types. And this slickness, it's like a cardiovascular miracle. But what's the trade-off? An incinerator stomach.
So that slick blood means you have a significantly lower risk of heart attacks and those really dangerous clots. And there's some pretty compelling research showing that type O folks tend to have more gray matter in their brains, which might be a buffer against cognitive decline. But that stomach, it evolved to digest literally whatever a hunt provided and to kill parasites in raw meat. So now it produces so much acid that it can lead to things like ulcers and reflux. Your whole nervous system is still wired for that hunt, sending you super strong hunger signals when your protein is low.
And get this is a wild one. If you've always felt like mosquitoes are basically hunting you down, you're not wrong. Studies show they land on people with type O blood almost twice as often as type A. Why? Apparently your skin just secretes this chemical signal they find absolutely irresistible. But here's the evolutionary genius behind it. While you get bitten more, the malaria parasite has a really hard time bonding to your smooth cells, so you're actually more resistant to a severe infection. You literally pay for survival with itchy skin.
Now within that type O group, there's a very special case, O negative. And this quote, wow, it just perfectly captures its profound paradox. It is the single most valuable liquid resource in all of medicine, but for the 7% of people who carry it, this superpower is also a kind of cage.
Picture a trauma bay. When there is no time to test a patient's blood type, the doctors yell for O negative. It's like the stealth bomber of blood. It slips past all of the body's immune defenses to save a life. But here's the catch. Because it lacks all those antigens, an O negative person can only receive O negative blood. Any other type is seen as a hostile invader by their body.
So that question right there marks the next great chapter in our story. As humanity shifted away from this nomadic hunting life and into settled, crowded communities, our biology, it had to adapt, and a whole new blood type emerged.
And that brings us to type A, the blood of the agrarian revolution. This new adaptation was absolutely crucial for surviving the brand new challenges of civilization. Living shoulder to shoulder with thousands of other people in growing communities.
The superpower of type A is the A antigen itself. It acts like a sophisticated biochemical doormat, and it is excellent at identifying common infections, like influenza, that just thrive in crowded areas. But the vulnerability? Well, if type O blood is like water, type A blood it's more like syrup. It's naturally thicker and stickier. And here is that trade-off in action. That thicker blood, which was once a superpower for quickly clotting a wound from, say, a farming tool, now makes you more prone to deadly clots and strokes. And chemically, type A individuals also have higher baseline levels of cortisol, the stress hormone. Now, why? Maybe it was an evolutionary edge. For a farmer, being extra vigilant against crop failure or pests or raiders, that was key to survival. The downside for us today is that when you get stressed, it takes your body longer to calm down. It's kind of like a fire alarm that just keeps ringing long after the smoke is cleared.
Right, so not everyone settled down and started farming. Some groups kept migrating, pushing into really harsh new environments. And their bodies, they faced totally different pressures, which forged a third, very distinct blueprint.
This brings us to type B, the genetic signature of the nomad. You find it lighting up heat maps in places like the Himalayas and the Asian steppes. It's really a testament to ancestors who walked some of the hardest paths on Earth. The defining trait here is a hair-trigger immune system. I mean, to survive constant exposure to new germs and pathogens on the move, it became incredibly aggressive. It's a shoot first, ask questions later kind of system. But in our modern, sterile world, that powerful internal army, well, it can get bored and actually attack you. It's a phenomenon we can call autoimmune friendly fire. So, the history of type B created this metabolic furnace. It's super efficient at digesting the fats and dairy you'd find in a pastoral diet. This, along with that really aggressive immune response, gave them incredible resilience to plagues like smallpox that just decimated settled populations. And yet today, that very same powerful system brings a higher risk of autoimmune disorders like MS and lupus. It's like a finely tuned weapon that can sometimes mistake its own body for the enemy.
Okay, and now for the anomaly, the newest and by far the rarest blood type on Earth. Type AB isn't really an adaptation to a specific environment. It's the result of global mixing. It's a biological collision between the farmer, type A, and the nomad, type B. Type AB is just a total medical paradox. Because it has both the A and the B antigens, it basically recognizes everything as self. This makes it the universal recipient. It can take blood from anyone. But that welcoming nature is also its greatest weakness. We can call it the open gate syndrome, where the immune system is a little too tolerant and it can sometimes let invaders slip right by.
And this is a really startling find from a major neurological study. The data showed that people with type AB blood were 82% more likely to develop cognitive issues later in life. This is likely linked to higher levels of a specific clotting protein, which can subtly reduce blood flow and oxygen in the brain over decades. So, to recap this chimera, it's the universal recipient, but it has a weaker defense system. And while its red blood cells are picky, its plasma is the universal donor. It's treated like liquid platinum in trauma centers. It's so unbelievably rare, less than 1% of the population, it's often nicknamed panda blood, a true biological ghost.
So, there you have it. We've journeyed from the hunter to the farmer, from the nomad to the modern hybrid. And look, none of these is better than any other. They are all just distinct, incredibly successful blueprints for human survival.
This table really puts the whole story into perspective, right? You've got the O hunter with fantastic cardiovascular health but that fiery stomach, the A farmer who's resistant to communal pathogens but has to watch out for clots and stress. You've got the B nomad with a super tough immune system that can sometimes turn on itself, and finally the AB hybrid, the universal recipient who might pay a price when it comes to cognitive risk. Each one is just this beautiful, intricate balance of power and vulnerability. So, in the end, while the science on exactly how these ancient traits affect our modern lives is definitely still evolving and being debated, this whole framework offers a really compelling lens to look through. Your blood type isn't a horoscope, it's a history book, written in your very cells. It carries the echoes of the scars and the strengths of ancestors you never even met. So the final question isn't about which type is best, but this. Knowing your unique evolutionary path, are you living in a way that honors its strengths and maybe, just maybe, mitigates its weaknesses?